Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Annabeth and I do consider myself to be knitworthy. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here, and if you're a new viewer, welcome. I am also so happy that you're here. So I am coming at you today from the second to last day of the best month. If you are a returning viewer, you might remember my last video was filmed on the second day of the best month being October, of course. So yeah, it's been a while. I don't even know where October went, if we're being honest. Like, August slipped away? No, October slipped away. It's just been busy with work and college football season and just like life in general. So coming at you today with a knitting update because there have been a lot of things happening outside of knitting and inside of knitting. So we are going to talk about the knitting things today, and I'll give you a look at what I've been working on. So buckle up, buttercups, I guess, because we are going to do acquisitions, finished objects, whips, and upcoming knitting plans today. So let's get into it. Okay, so first up is acquisitions. My largest acquisition since my last video is my Over the Garden Wall Halloween countdown box. That's my laundry timer, so one moment please. Okay, let's try that again. So my biggest acquisition since my last video is probably my teeny button Over the Garden Wall Halloween countdown, I guess. But since I have not opened all of the parts of that yet, I'm not going to show it to you just yet. I'll show it to you in my next knitting update. I've, of course, opened up all 12 of the minis because it started on October 19th, which was also my birthday, so love that for me. So I've opened up all 12 of the minis, but I do still have the full skein for tomorrow, which is, of course, Halloween, to open. So I won't show you guys that until my next knitting update. But other than that, I do have a couple acquisitions over here. Let me grab those super quick. So first up is this lovely little number. This is Malabrigo Ultimate Sock. Colorway is 862 Pedras. I think that's what that says. It's just a really nice, like, autumnal skein, sock skein. I'm just realizing matches my sweater really well, though I'm positive this is not the same yarn. So I got this one at Knit and Crochet in the Mall of America in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We were there, of course, for one of my brother's college football games, and after the game on Saturday, we were able to drive over to Mall of America, have dinner at one of the restaurants. We ate at the Mexican restaurant. I can't remember what it's called right now. It was really good. And then we walked around, looked at some stores that interested us. We saw their Barnes & Noble, we saw the M&M store, we saw the Crayola Experience store with, like, the wall of, like, build your own pack of crayons. That was pretty cool. I liked that. Where else did we go? Oh, we went to an, I can't remember any names of these places that we went to, but it was a store that specialized in alpaca products. I totally should have grabbed what I got there, because I consider that an acquisition as well. So I'll do that in a minute, but I got this at Knit and Crochet in Mall of America. So let me grab the other thing I got at Mall of America too. One moment. Okay, so this was the other thing I bought at Mall of America. I have now these really cute cabled transitional gloves. So like I said, the store that I got these at specializes in alpaca products. So there were sweaters, blankets, fur pillows, there was like everything you can think of. It was a very warm store, like not even just because of the products, but just like it felt like it just retained all the heat because of all the alpaca products. Oh, there were some amazing socks too, of course. So I got these gloves. It has the little thumb hole too, which I really appreciate. And I got these because, yes, I could make my own. Do I want to, though? No. Every time, like every winter, I try and convince myself that I want to make myself a pair of like fingerless gloves that transition into mittens, and it never happens. So I'm just admitting defeat, and you know what? These are really nice. They have like kind of a fleece or like maybe felted alpaca lining. Maybe, I don't know if that part's alpaca too, but they're so warm. I've worn these at multiple football games already, and they are perfect. So I can admit when something that I make probably would not have been up to this, like on the same level as these, and I am so happy with these. So no, I'm not going to attempt to make another pair of mittens. I've tried that already, and they're not my favorite to make. So here we go. So that was, I guess, another acquisition from Mall of America. So let me show you one more. It's kind of in like two parts here. So next up I have this lovely sock set. This is from Painted Fern Fibre Company. This was actually their first collection drop, I think. It was part of their like fall Halloween collection. So this is their Shield sock base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It is a 4-ply for my 4-ply lovers out there. And so the main colorway, this really nice like green gray, is Embrace the Grave, and the contrasting colorway is Final Gasp. What I'm going to make for it with this probably is, let me grab one of these. It will probably be my second sample of my Moonrise socks. I had been looking for something, because for my first sample I did a light MC and a dark CC, so main color, contrasting color. So I wanted to do the opposite for what my second sample is going to be when the pattern does eventually enter testing. I get to send my pattern to my tech editor pretty soon, so once the lovely Sarah is done with that and has helped me find all of my mistakes, because she's amazing at her job, I will be putting out a testing call for my Moonrise socks. So looking forward to making my second sample with this for sure. And then also part of the Halloween drop from Painted Fern was some lovely bags and stitch markers. So I got the Halloween stitch marker set. I don't know how well you can see those, but it's a pack of 3. There is a cute little skull, a little bat, and a little ghosty, and the ghost is like that glow-in-the-dark green color. So super cute. About to put these on one of my sock whips as progress keepers. They are just adorable. Painted Fern, I hope you had the best first collection drop, and I can't wait to see what else you do, because these colors are just so amazing. So I'm excited for that. So that is it for acquisitions. So next up we are going to move into finished objects, and I do have quite a few to show you, because you know, it's been almost a month since I gave you a knitting update, so let's jump into those finished objects. Okay, so first finished object was actually the star of my last video when we were talking about vanilla socks. These are my Forethought Heel vanilla socks in the Rakish Audacity sock set from Red Door Fibre Studio. So obviously Rakish Audacity is the main color, and I think it's Evasion is the contrasting color. As you can see by the look of this heel, I have worn these quite a few times since finishing them. They have been, with their length, they have been the perfect boot socks. If you want to hear more about like why I chose to make the legs so long and stuff, you can check out my last video, the introduction to vanilla socks. It kind of explains what I'm doing with these, other than wearing them and knitting them and loving them. So yeah, these socks are done. Added them to my beefy sock count for 2023, and we are going to move into the next vanilla sock soon, hopefully. So that's finished object number 1. Finished object number 2 is that the back? I can never tell. This is why I need to be better about sewing tags into my finished objects so I can actually tell what's the front and what's the back. Here we go. So, partner pullover is done. Here, let me scoot back and actually hold this up so you can see it. So I knit this. This is the partner pullover by Lydia Morrow. I knit it in Dissonant Whispers from Red Door Fibre Studios, so that's the purple, and then Cascade 220 in black, so that's obviously the black color. This was a super fun knit, especially because I chose to mix and match the colorwork design options. So I had the checker pattern on the sleeves and on the sleeve join up on the chest, and then I had the wave pattern for the lower body, and I just think it looks super cool. I was gonna wear this for today's video, but I actually did this makeup look for my Halloween post, so I did not feel like taking that off and changing it just yet, so I went with my very V-neck instead, because I feel like it matched a little bit better. But this has already gotten quite a few wears, and it will probably get another wear for actual Halloween tomorrow, because is this the second or third year in a row that I've had to work on Halloween, which is fine. I'm opening, so I get off at 5 and trick-or-treating starts at 6, but that means I can't go all out for Halloween costume-wise. So what I'll probably do is I'll wear this to work, and then I'll also wear it for trick-or-treating, and maybe throw in a couple of accessories. I have a dark metal crown and a spider web cloak, so maybe I'll throw those on too. We'll have to see. Another reason I'm not mad about having to wear a sweater on Halloween is because it is, of course, going to be cold, because I live here being Northeast Ohio, and we can't have nice things. Nice things being good, nice, warm, comfortable fall weather for more than a week. So I was blessed where I got some really nice weather for my birthday, and that means, of course, Halloween night and going into November 1st, there is a chance of snow. There's a chance of snow. It's fine. It's fine. This happens every year. Last year we had snow on the ground for my birthday, so it's fine, I guess. But yeah, definitely not gonna be mad handing out candy to trick-or-treaters in this sweater. So that is finished object number 2. Finished object number 3 is this guy. I'm not gonna put him on because he's still a little damp, because I finally gave him a bath yesterday when I blocked my other finished object that I'll talk about next. This is the Joshua Tree beanie. It has some really nice texture and cables and baubles to represent the Joshua trees in Joshua Tree National Park. This pattern, of course, is from Nancy Bates and her Knitting the National Parks book. The yarn is Everyday Merino, I think it's called, from Twice Sheared Sheep, and I think this color is Pine. I'll correct myself in editing if that's not right. But yeah, I was really happy that not every pattern in that book was color work. If you watched my last video where I talked about getting the book from my library, I was like, oh, every pattern is color work, so I'll have to find one that works for me. Not every pattern is color work in that book. I was wrong. So I was really happy to find this one and to be able to make it. I think it'll be a nice transitional piece as the weather continues to take a turn for us here in Ohio. Looking out my window, can you see? No, you can't see. We are entering the season of the sticks, that's for sure. So leaves are falling. Leaf mold allergy people like myself are suffering. Not suffering, not yet, but we will be. So yeah, that's that one. And then my last one I do not have with me physically because it is still on the blocking board, so I'll probably put up a picture of it. It was still damp this morning, like the hat, and I was doing a hard block on the ribbing for it, so I didn't want to move it. So that is, of course, my best vest. I knit that in Hestia from Pasley Knits on her cloud base. It was my first time working with the cloud base, and I really loved working with it. It is a bulky weight base, but it is like a blown Surrey alpaca, I think. So even though it is a bulky weight, the yardage that you get for 100 grams is closer to a worsted weight yardage, which was great. I only needed 2 skeins for this vest that I made, and even though the vest is designed to be a more oversized fit, I sized a couple sizes down because I wanted a little bit of a closer fit, and because I was like the teeniest bit worried about yardage, having only 2 skeins of that yarn. But I tried it on yesterday before blocking, and I really loved the fit, so I just let blocking do its thing. I didn't like try and pin it out to any specific measurements. The only thing that I did do was make sure the ribbing like lined up with the stockinette of the body. Because I like especially on vests when it's not like super like cinched up on the sleeve ribbing and on the hem ribbing, like I prefer that to be a little bit more open. So that's all I did for the blocking for that. But once it's dry, I will probably take some finished object photos and post them on my Instagram so you guys can see it, and maybe I'll like wear it in my next update or something. So yeah, that is it for finished objects. So next up we will move into works in progress. Okay, so I have 2 works in progress. It's about to be 3. But we'll get to the third one when I talk about my knitting plans. So here is my first one. Let me get my light out of the way. There we go. This is my first work in progress. This is another pair of vanilla socks that I am making in the Little Foxes Because I Knew You colorway from her Wicked collection. That's the main color, and then the contrasting color, if I can get it out of its bag, there we go, is Defying Gravity. So I really love how these two look together right now. I've said this before, but the light that I have on my dresser here is really yellow, so there are like a lot more blues and subtle greens in there, but I think they're getting a little washed out, but that's okay. If you want to see the color in all of its beauty, check out Gina's Instagram at The Little Foxes, and you'll see it. So, of course, I have my Twice Sheared Sheep row counter on here. So with this pair of vanilla socks, as I mentioned in my last video, I'm deciding to do a bit of a comparison in vanilla sock construction recipes, I guess. It's not like there's a specific pattern for vanilla socks out there that I'm following. I'm just kind of winging it with my own variations. So my Rakish Audacity vanilla socks were the forethought heel, so that's of course where you like place a piece of scrap yarn and then knit your heel from there when you're done with everything else. I talk about it more in my introduction to vanilla socks video. So this one, I'm still on the legs, so I still have some time to decide, but I'm thinking this one will be the heel flap and gusset vanilla sock. So then we'll get a yardage comparison for this one versus that one versus the next one, which will be the short row heel. For the leg, I've decided that I'm going to try and keep as many things as possible the same between the vanilla socks that I'm comparing. So really what I'm going to be comparing is heel construction, but since that's such a vital part of socks, that's really the main type differentiation I'm going with. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to knit the 69 rounds for the leg before I start the heel. If you want to know how I got that number, check out my last video. I explain it all there. And then from there, I will do the heel flap and gusset and then keep going. And I am planning on doing contrast cuff, heel, and toe, just like the other ones. So that is whip number 1. Whenever I knit these, I feel like I take forever to knit around because I just keep looking at how amazing all of the different colors work together in this main color. Like, I was a little worried at first of like some striping or some micro pulling because I didn't really want that to happen with these socks, and it didn't, and it's just all beautiful and melty together and stuff. So yeah, that's enough about that. That is whip number 1. And then whip number 2 is actually another pair of socks, because you may have noticed I only had one sock finished object for this month for Socktober. I was a little disappointed in myself, so I started another pair of socks as well. The other reason I started these socks is because they are for my aunt as a like retroactive birthday gift, I guess. I gave her an IOU, a small knitted item for her birthday, and then she cashed that in. So these are going to be another pair of my pumpkin picking socks. So that is my own pattern. You can find it on my Ravelry and my Etsy. She really liked my second sample that I made where I used, where is it? There it is. Where I used Scar from Long Dog Yarn on Bounce Sock, and then I used, shoot, what is it called? It's the green tonal from the D&D Club from Red Door Fibre Studio on Cozy Sock. So that's the one with a little mohair mixed in. I used that on my second sample. Now obviously I was not going to have enough of Hexblade, that's what it's called. I was not going to have enough of Hexblade to knit a whole other pair of socks, but I think I have enough of Scar with a little asterisk next to that statement. So you may notice I'm not doing the full contrast color cuff on these. I just did like a contrasting edge because I weighed this yesterday when I started and I only had like 10 grams left, and I of course need enough for the color work on both socks. So to give myself a little peace of mind where I won't have to worry about playing yarn chicken at the end of the second sock, I just did a contrasting edge on this cuff. I'll do the full color work, of course, and then at the toe, instead of doing a contrasting toe, I'll probably just do a contrast band around the foot before the toe starts. So that way I can have a little bit of peace of mind while knitting the second sock. So yeah, pumpkin picking socks number 3 for me. So that is the second whip, and that is my last whip that I have right now. However, I'm going to have another whip very soon because I'm going to be starting my sheep camp soon. So that's kind of getting into knitting plans, so let me grab the yarn that I'm going to use for that to show you again, and then we'll talk about that. Okay, so for upcoming knitting plans, main plan I have right now is to knit a sheep camp. I would love to get that done for maybe Thanksgiving. because this is the yarn that I'm going to be using for that. So this is, again, from the Little Foxes Wicked collection. This is No One Mourns the Wicked, which is actually the same color that I am using as the main color for my aunt's pumpkin sock. Pumpkin socks. I'm not going to knit her just one sock. Come on. I forgot to say that earlier. So this is No One Mourns the Wicked, and this is Swankified, so Fiero's colorway from Wicked, from the Wicked collection. And these will be put together for a sheep camp. I think it'll be a really nice transitionary, like, November sweater, because we do have a bit of yellow and orange in Swankified, so it does stick with the fall season, but it would still be a good, like, transitionary towards the winter season, towards Christmas, towards not being fall anymore. So yeah, this will be my sheep camp, and that's really the main knitting plan that I have right now. I, of course, will eventually, once I finish my Because I Knew You vanilla socks, I will eventually be knitting a third pair of vanilla socks. Whether that happens before the end of the year at this point, we'll see. But I still have a couple sock sets I'm deciding between for those. And then, of course, I will be eventually knitting a second sample of my Moonrise socks in the Painted Fern sock set when I eventually do a testing group for that. So keep an eye out, especially on my Instagram, for an eventual testing call for that if you're interested. I'll have more information coming eventually. So yeah, that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this almost a month later knitting update. I hope you had a fantastic October. I hope you have a lovely Halloween. That's, as I'm filming this, tomorrow. If you celebrate, of course. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully it won't be almost a month later, but we'll see where life takes me. Working in retail and getting into the holiday season, just be nice to your retail employees, guys. We deal with enough. PSA for the day. So yeah, that's all I got. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to comment below any upcoming knitting plans that you might have. I'd love to hear it. And of course, you can be a little bit more up to date with what I'm doing in the day-to-day if you follow me over on Instagram at AnnabethIsKnitworthy with underscores between the words. Yeah, that's all I got. I hope you have a fantastic last couple of days of October. I hope you have a great start of November, and I of course hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye.